All right. We're live now. I couldn't go live before because LinkedIn doesn't allow us to go live early. So now let me save it here, and now we're on LinkedIn as well. So welcome to obviously from looking at Kerr, Ghost Stories with Kerr. So I guess
unfortunately, there's like fucking horror stories, man.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of an impromptu thing tonight. We were supposed to have a guest on the I Tap That Cigar show, but we decided to postpone Ken with Chief Cigars. We wasn't quite sure what was going to go on with Kerr. You know, whether he's going to have power. Obviously, he doesn't have power. You ran out of internet earlier, and now you at least got internet back.
For now, I got the internet's back. Yep,
you got the internet's back. So,
yeah, but we're running off a generator
Can you just hit leave studio over there then? So, yeah, so you're running off a generator, and yeah, how's things going?
I'm gonna try and temper myself, considering, but
so let me ask you a question. So that may come up for people like in the future, because you had left town for the weekend, you came back in.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have preferred to stay home and ride out the storm to be prepared for what happened? Or were you thankful at least you got to spend the weekend while your neighbors were out of electricity and you came back into it? You know, which would you have preferred to do if you had to do it again?
Well, that's a tough question because, you know, and hear me out with this. One is, you know, we lucked out. We were blessed because normally when a storm of this magnitude hits an area, right, you can't get in.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, that did concern me when we were down there, right? Is what the shit, we're not good. But the part that really ended up being a blessing is the fact that we were able to get a generator down in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
It was our last one. Jennifer was persistent on this guy finding the last one. So we were able to get a generator. We were able to get provisions. We were able to get a cooler, get some food, throw some ice in it that was plentiful at the hotel, and water, and then gas cans, and then kind of schedule and plan it, because by the time we got past Columbia, and I know you're not very geographically challenged, you're geographically challenged there, but when we got past Columbia, which is the mid-state, we're about an hour and 20 minutes from Columbia. The rest stops were either out of gas or they had lines that were far beyond the exits. So, I mean, realistically, I mean, I think the way it worked out is the way it was supposed to work out. And I was glad that we were out of town, and not because we spent the weekend, you know, with electricity and air conditioning and all that stuff. It was because we were able to come back and have a generator providing electricity to our neighbors as well. So it's been very helpful for them. They got to save a lot of food in their deep freezer. You know, I'm able to hook up my one line to my workstation, so I've been able to work. And another one into the refrigerator to keep the refrigerator and add food stuff. So the way it worked out was the way it was supposed to work. I mean, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it could have gone sideways. I mean, it could have gone so bad where we weren't able to get back into town, you know, and that would have sucked. You know, it could have been worse if we stayed here, and if, you know, trees fell and everything. There's a lot of ifs and buts, but even getting gas when we pulled in, it was like, I pulled into the Sphinx that was right down the road, like half a mile from our home. And when I pulled in, I just got in right behind somebody. It was just that much luck. It just really worked in that favor. So St. Augustine was very windy. I mean, the night was crazy. But, you know, it is heart-wrenching to see what has been going on in this area. Even Greenville. I mean, the eye of the hurricane hit Greenville, which has never happened. You know, it hit Atlanta.
Oh, really? I didn't know
as
that
a hurricane.
The eye went over Greenville.
Yeah, as a hurricane, not as a tropical storm, as a hurricane. That thing was moving fast and wide. There are towns, and I don't know, just because we don't have, I'm not seeing a lot on the fucking news, because heaven forbid, you don't put something in North Carolina, that's not politically related. But man, all these towns that we used to visit, and Jessica lived up in that area too. She can tell you all these towns we used to visit, flooded or gone. Flooded or gone. Asheville's underwater, complete devastation. Complete devastation. Brevard, underwater. People don't even hear from their loved ones because there's no electricity, there's no phone. They don't know if their family members are alive or not. Hendersonville, Chimney Rock Park, beautiful freaking location. They filmed movies there. The whole area is just gone, just washed away, gone.
Yeah, I was. Jessica took me to Chimney Rock when we were there a couple of years ago, and beautiful. And then, like I said, I read online. She said that you guys had sent us a news article, but I was just reading it on my Google feed. It said that everything washed into the lake, all gone. Chimney Rock, everything.
And you know what? We're inconvenienced, right? And I fucking hate seeing people get on Facebook who are inconvenienced and act like they're fucking in the middle of an apocalyptic event. Okay, you don't have electricity, suck it up, right? This is the first time ever, and I've gone through snowstorms, shit like this without electricity for days and such. First time I've ever had a generator, and it's been very helpful. It's been helpful enough to make our life a little bit easier, probably the next guy, but it's not like we're freaking, got the lights on and we're hanging out and I'm having, keg parties. It's enough to keep things going here. And to keep our neighbors.
You still have
going.
a roof. Yeah, you have a roof over your head.
Still have a roof. Still got a roof. Trees.
Yeah, those people
trees
in
the
Chimney
back
Rock
fell the wrong way.
They don't have roof. Yeah,
there's people around here where trees have fallen on their homes. Chimney Rock. They don't have the roofs. They don't have houses. They're gone. It washed away.
Yeah.
There's freaking people are on roofs waiting for rescuing. I'll tell you what was really chilling and telling is as we were coming up Route 26. Now I kind of is in the center part of the state, Kevin. And we take 385, which branches off, northwest into Greenville. That looked like mortar fire, was landed, because just like trees just blown up alongside. You could tell from the road on what was cleaned up and what was actually laying across the road, and all banged up and mangled dividers and guardrails. And the part that was really the worst is when by a field that was filled with water, and there was an ambulance and a search and rescue, and there was a trailer underwater in that field.
Wow.
And that was when we came back yesterday. So you got to understand, Sunday, and it's that thing was underwater for how long? So it's people need to take a reality check when it comes to being inconvenienced or being truly devastated. And and even the inconvenience part, it sucks after a while. It does. It's like today I'm trying to work. Things aren't moving as smooth as they are. I'm like you, Kevin. I have a routine. My routine is off. I can't sit here and act like in a comparative way where I'm sitting on the roof waiting for someone to rescue me just because my coffee machine is not available to be hooked up, right? But I do have a routine, and it's a new routine now. And it's like, I'm doing work stuff, and it's just like, do you guys not have a map? Like, do you know where I fucking live? I was happenstance that when we got the generator going and I plugged the cord in, I plugged in the power strip. I'm like, I'm curious. I plugged in the router and I plugged in the modem, and we had internet. I was like, oh, okay. So I could do this and I could do work now. It went out for a couple of hours today, which, it is what it is. But, we've been really fortunate and blessed in those areas, inconvenience. Yes. But, even someone like us who are being inconvenienced, there are still some challenges that I just wish some people would understand and show a little bit of respect. But at the end of the day, ain't nothing like some of what these other folks are dealing
No,
with.
no, it was. I mean,
Not even comparable.
we were in commutes. We went 5 days. I mean, we didn't have internet, no cell service. And that's what sucked. But I can say that. But we were still on my back deck, as you saw pictures. I was able to read a book and smoke a cigar and have a drink, and which is nothing compared to these people that like you said, their decks are gone, as well as the rest of the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was but yeah, that was one thing that we were most concerned about, because we were supposed to be getting ready to leave for the barn smoker that previous day. And it was like, well, we're going to get hit, you throw that up there. And it was the big thing, like could we get back home? And for us, there was no getting back. We didn't know that until afterwards.
Yeah, you're in a banged up area though. I mean, you got
there was no getting. We couldn't have gotten back home, so we'd had to stay somewhere for another week to get back home. But it's one of those things, like you didn't know. You don't know until you don't know
until it happens, man.
Until you don't know, until it happens, and God forbid, like your house sprung a small leak, and you're gone for a couple of days and come back and you're like, oh God,
that's my concern, man.
I could have saved that whole floor if I'd have, thrown a patch.
That's why you get so concerned.
Quick.
That's the concern that I had, but it was like, once a decision is made, then you just have to live with that decision, and then you have to be resilient and make some changes and stuff. And I mean, I talked to Jennifer about it. I was like, what can we do when a storm hits? Nothing. What can we do if a tree falls on the house? Well, not, but there is something about being there when it happens to at least, to do some sort of work or to do something to make it so better. Or like you said, there could be a roof. I mean, we got some deck damage, and we do have some spouting damage, right? And it's like that spouting damage, if it was significant enough, and it rips off a shingle, and their water gets under there, you could stop a major leak. But we really couldn't think about that. It was like it all worked out the way it should have, and I'm really like it was nice that our neighbors checked on our house. We got an alarm system, and I was like, oh yeah, well, what happens if it goes down? Well, it runs off of cellular. What happens if cellular's down?
Yeah.
Because AT&T was down. So luckily, she was able to use the code and get into the house and checked on everything. Everything was fine. And we came back, and we got their kids a couple of things for helping out with the cat. And like I said, I got a really nice generator. It's got 4 plugs. I'm like, these are yours. What are you going to plug into it? Because we got to make sure we keep the wattage where it's supposed to be. Here's ours, and just keep it at that, and it's been fine.
Were you ever pick up an extension cord for the big plug?
I know. I sent Jennifer that link. The problem is, a lot of these places aren't even open, or they don't have electricity. And like right now, the one of the insurance agents, like Allstate or Progressive, is camped out over at Home Depot, and that's just a madhouse right now.
Oh yeah, we had
that. You go in there for an extension cord, and it's like freaking 8 hours.
We had
later.
We had it at the mall. That was a tractor trailer from like all the big, like 8 or 10 insurance companies were up there handling people. But yeah, so now you have a generator for the future. One thing I still want to do is have the plug put in underneath your breaker box, so you could plug the generator directly into your house panel.
Yeah.
So all your lights and everything work, and that's nice. I definitely want to have that done. It's not luckily my neighbor's an electrician, but it's usually like $500-600 to have it done, and it's nice not having to run extension cords.
It is. My dad's always like, because my dad's an electrician, and he always has heavy criticism of that, because some people try and do it, they don't do it right. And he talks about how dangerous it is to the line workers about the feedback of the electricity. If once the light, when the power comes back on, and he was giving me a bunch of
So what they do now is if you have a licensed electrician to come out, they put what's called a safety panel on. So where you up top where you have like your main breaker that you pull down. So there's a sliding plate that goes over that. So and then your generator breaker is your first one. So in order to turn your generator breaker on, you have to pull down your main, slide that switch over, then it allows you to turn your generator breaker on. So you can never backfeed into the lines outside.
Well, yeah, the operative phrase there was licensed electrician. That's what my dad was telling me. He's like, you have a bunch of people out there who are doing it the way they want to do it. And then
my neighbor, he made a dead man cord, double male, plugged it into his generator, and then plugged the other end into his dryer where this dryer plug is. So then the whole house had electricity, but it was also backfeeding into the lines a little bit, So
yeah. So there you go.
So
There's a prime example. You know why they call it dead man line.
That's why they call it a dead man switch, or dead man cord. So
yeah, I mean, but that's what we're doing. I know you had a fantastic trip down to Cape Canaveral, so I don't want the death and destruction and rain and everything else to take away from Kevin's birthday trip to Cape Canaveral.
Well, it's good. I mean, people can know what to do, what not to do. People should have if they're living in an area like we are. Like I should have had a generator years ago, but it took a natural disaster for me to get one. And now I have one.
Every time the electricity goes off, the conversation is always, "Gosh, I wish I had a generator. Gosh, I wish I had a generator. Gosh, the generator." And then you're like, maybe I got to pick one up. Then you're always like, in the good times when the lights are on and it's sunny skies, you're like, it's kind of expensive, man. When the last time it was only 3 or 4 days, it wasn't too bad. And then it was like, no. So,
everybody everybody listening, don't go out and buy a generator right now. Wait, because after our area got hit, I spent like $700 on mine because mine runs on gas or propane. So I can do the dual. A week after the hurricane power came back on, they were on Facebook Marketplace for half price. And people were like, other people were like, why are you getting rid of it? You're going to need it again. So wait in these areas that were affected, maybe a month, and then go buy on Facebook Marketplace. But buy one that Kerr bought. I had to buy mine last minute. I bought a regular generator. Kerr got an inverter generator. So for people that don't know the difference, Kerr got one that puts out clean power. It's a constant sine wave. So it's constantly putting out the same voltage. Mine, if you've ever heard a generator, it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. It puts out the same voltage, up, down, up, down. So if you plug your laptop into a generator like mine, it will fry it. If those ups get too up, so
there's also the regulation switch on it. What's really nice. Yeah. So if you unplug something, it makes sure the idling is stable. It doesn't. Yeah. And if I unplugged everything, it's not going to all of a sudden spike either. It'll drop it and lower it.
Yeah, you've got that. So and then I had a battery backup, uninterrupted power supply, the UPS. Now I did plug that into the generator so we could charge our phones and things like that, because that converts it into a little bit more of a cleaner, not as clean as you, but
no, but that would be something that we would do too, is get, that type of a charger as well, or a generator as well. But I can tell you it holds 3.3 gallons. And it ran like today from like, I don't know, 7 o'clock until I think 3 or 2 o'clock. And you got to shut it down every 8 to 10 hours and let it cool for about an hour and then fire it back up. And you put gas in it. I opened it up. It only used like a half a tank.
Mine holds like a full. Mine holds almost 5 gallons. And I think on gas, if I remember right, it was like 10 hours, maybe 12 pushing it. On propane, it only did like 8 hours, on a 30-pound cylinder of propane. I don't know what the equivalent of gas that is, but on a container of propane, it only did like 8 hours.
Yeah, this thing's efficient, man. I almost crap my pants when I opened up the gas can. I was like, it's not even halfway, and it went from what, like, it was like 6-7 hours or something. So it could probably go a good 12-14 hours if you want it on a tank of gas. And
Yeah, that's really, yeah, they're really efficient.
it's a Ryobi too, and
Yeah.
it was a decent price. We looked around; there was nobody price gouging or anything. The folks at Home Depot were really helpful when we were there. They were understaffed because they still had people out because the storm did hit some areas down there. The
Oh
wind
yeah.
was pretty bad, but I do count my blessings. Like I said, it's an inconvenience, and there's a lot of parts about it that really do stink. But at the end of the day, I'm like, things could be a lot worse, a hell of a lot worse. And my heart and my prayers go out to all those folks who are being impacted right now. And I really hope that there are um, outlets, news agencies, Facebook, whatever, and get get the word out, get some help to these folks. Um, it's
And if you have,
it's rural North
we,
Carolina, man, and
yeah,
it's not as popular as a freaking New York City or an LA or a Miami or some other place that may
and
get
it's not
hit.
going to be as easy to get help to those people. Like when,
Hell no.
after a few days of us being out, the down here the water did go down. We still didn't have power. Grocery stores still weren't open, but people could get supplies in. So some of those communities out there, I watch, like one road in, and there's 6 feet of mud. They're having to fly in through
And there's roads
helicopter.
that are there's so many bridges that are collapsed. Route 40 that goes in North Carolina, Tennessee is gone. That road
Yeah.
collapsed. That's a major road. So, it really does rely on boats and helicopters to get in there. I mean, I know Asheville, looking at Asheville from an aerial view is just it's gut wrenching. It really is. But like I said, there's a lot of folks, that we hope are well, and hopefully they can get things in that area, get the folks that they need to get things straightened out. I mean, and I think it's because people. I'll be honest with you, I had some people reaching out to me, and I don't know if it's just the not. Like I said, it's not going to be on CNBC or MSNBC or Fox or anything that's going to be getting a lot of coverage. The storm itself got coverage when it hit Florida, but someone said to me, "Oh, okay, so now it's just everything's settled now. Now it's just time to rebuild." I was like,
Yeah.
"No, no, that water is not receding yet, and what is receding, that cleanup is going to be horrific." Everyone saw what Katrina did, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine that in small towns in North Carolina. The same thing. Even some of even though because even worse because it's not a bowl like Louisiana, like New Orleans and stuff. This is mountains, so you have water that's rushing violently and just it's bad when you're sitting there and you're seeing 18 wheelers being freaking swept away in houses. I mean
Yeah.
that's a very powerful water flow. So,
Yeah, I was watching some of the videos from the people that were still in their house, and then they were filming the flash floods coming by, and after the evacuation orders were given. We had the one sheriff here in Florida. He had made the night before, and he said, "This is your time to get out." And he goes, "We're not coming for you. We're not going to put our officers at risk because you were
yep.
mandated to leave and you decided to stay." And he said it several times. Do not call us. We're not coming out.
Yep.
And I watched some of these people filming from their houses, and it's like, what? Why are you staying? You knew this was coming, and it's like, and then maybe some people didn't have a place to go. I don't know. It's hard to say that now, and look back on it, but I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough to know what other people's options are. I mean,
Yeah.
I looked at, even if we were here, when I look at where we live, I look at the bad rains we've had here, the water flow. I'm like, okay, You know, um, if we were to get water, it would probably be in the garage,
Yeah.
in the lounge area, just because of the way the water lies. Other than that, the house is built up. We have a great downward slope in the backyard. And we have a creek in the back, a creek bed that's actually about a good 12 feet down. So we would have to get about 14 feet of water for that
Yeah.
creek to crest, because it's
Yeah.
a big carve out. So that was definitely um no, I wasn't really concerned about a lot of those things. But um so did you get to launch anything, Kev? I know you went to Cape Canaveral. Did you actually? Let me ask you this: did you get to push any buttons where you got yelled at?
No, there was definitely lots of fake buttons and knobs and switches around in the various places we went, exhibits and stuff. So there was nowhere that you could press a button and do anything. I looked. But
I
there were
look.
there was no buttons. We did get to see the launch, and it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
so. I mean, we were 7 miles away from the space center, from the launch site, because we didn't want to pay the additional. Which, in hindsight, it was only $70 a person, and you could have been, closer, because where the grandstands are, at the Saturn V Center was, I think, only 3 miles away, right across the river. So you could have seen it a whole lot better. But we still saw it from the Space Center, and it was so cool. And that double sonic boom when it comes back in, that was unexpected.
Yeah, you were saying that. Now, you saw it live. I know I've watched videos of those rockets coming back and landing, and to me, it doesn't look real. It always looks like someone's putting the video in reverse. Like, I guess my mind is always blown that they could do that. I'm like, hey, then for years, didn't we just jettison that shit, then just let it parachute down? Or how did somebody go, hey, you know what? After we disengage, we're going to take those things and we're going to land them again.
That's what's mind-boggling about NASA with this the SLS, a Space Launch System, and it's got me so infuriated, because every time and that's the big rocket, it's bigger than the Saturn V that they're building. Every time it goes up, it's $1 billion, and it's lost. The entire rocket, the engines, everything, it's lost. Elon Musk is now putting up for $20 million per launch, and he's able to salvage it. And then his new big one will be almost as big as the SLS, and they're going to catch that.
Are you trying to say that Are you trying to say that something that's actually funded and run by the government is wasting money, where someone in the private sector is not?
Yeah, the sad thing is, NASA wanted to cancel the SLS years ago. They wanted to focus, let Elon do his thing, let Blue Origin do their thing. But there was this congressman from I don't know where one of the, is it Kentucky, Tennessee, wherever one of their other satellite places. There was a bill going through Congress, and part of the bill was mandated that the NASA continue this project, because people in his town or his state was getting billions and billions of dollars. And he said he wouldn't vote on it unless that provision was in the bill that mandated NASA keep going when NASA wanted to pull the plug on it. Absolutely insane. But that's neither here nor there. But it was cool. The rocket was supposed to go up on Thursday, but because the hurricane was coming through, it got postponed till Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So because it came through Saturday, they don't run the buses for the bus tours on Saturday, for security reasons. They don't want anybody getting anywhere near, the rocket prior to launch. So that means we weren't going to see the Saturn V Center, and that's like the only thing I wanted to do. I wanted to see everything, but the only thing I wanted to do was stand underneath of a Saturn V rocket just to see how big it is. And thankfully, they said after the launch went up, 2 p.m., they were going to start running buses for an hour. So we were actually able to get out, and it is mind bending. You can't, I could never tell anybody. You would have to see it. I could give you a length, I could say the size of a football field, but it doesn't do anything, doesn't do it justice until you're standing underneath of a Saturn V rocket, in its pieces, hanging above your head and seeing these engines that are just, it'll blow you away.
That's crazy.
It really is. And then in the rocket garden, they have one of every rocket that they've ever put up. They had one replica because they didn't build, they destroyed or sent all of them. So they did have one replica, but the first one, the Redstone, the Mercury Redstone that Alan Shepard, the first person in space, if I'm not mistaken, but that went up in, and you're looking at it like it's so tiny, like it's just a little tiny missile. Is all. I mean, and that's how they explain it's actually a converted ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile. But you're looking at it and it's so small, and you're like, some dude got on top of this tiny rocket and they shot his ass into space, and it was
they basically brought over all those Nazi engineers after World War II, and basically
Project,
said, "Hey."
I forget what that project was called.
Project Paperclip.
Paperclip, yeah.
And it was like, hey, you guys did the X1 rockets, X2 rockets,
or V1, V2.
Yeah, V1, V2. Yeah, okay, great. We want you to work for us, and we'll give you your name now is George, and you're gonna launch us in outer space.
Yeah, absolutely, and insane. And then just seeing the progression of all the rockets, the sizes and everything else, and then they didn't get a whole lot bigger. It was just like progressively just a little bit bigger until they got to like the one just under the Saturn V, and it was 10 times bigger, and then the Saturn V was 50 times bigger, and it's like, how did we do this?
It's crazy.
But it's a great place to go. You learn so much. It is just like a theme park, tons of different interactions, rides that you can do, and really, really inexpensive. Even food, even memorable shirts that were, $25, $30. Normal theme shirts are $50. Jessica and I had lunch, a good sized lunch, drinks, everything else, like $30 for the two of us,
Really?
So they're simulators. There aren't rides. So yeah, they don't have like a roller coaster, but they have the rides you sit in. And
thank you, Jessica. It's their simulators, Kevin.
Yes, they're simulators, but it was super cool. And there was like so many like powerful emotional moments, when you talk about, like, when we walked into the Astronaut Hall of Fame, and you had all of the members of the Challenger, their murals on the wall, and then I think the Discovery that went over California, and then and they had you walk down this tunnel, and on the left side they had a big shadow box filled with memorabilia and pictures of each astronaut, and then it could have been like their favorite book or their flight helmet, or whatnot. And then on the Discovery side, it was actually a page from the manual that they used to go up, and like they found this page in his notebook, that survived and landed back on Earth, so that was definitely powerful.
Did you get a chance to go on the set where they filmed the fake moon landing?
Oh, there was some secret doors, and they had like big buildings behind there, and I'm like, this is where they did it, isn't it?
We just watched a movie. Yeah. We just watched a movie the other night, and Jennifer can post. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was under romantic comedy, but it was actually really good, and it was the all fictitious, but it was about the moon launch, right? Or the moon landing. And they were really going to land on the moon, but they actually had somebody come in, and they were going to fake the moon landing in case shit went south, right? So that was the idea, was they had the moon landing set in case things went south. And then they decided to go ahead and move forward with using the fake moon landing because they didn't know how good the camera work was going to be on the regular moon landing. And then they actually used the real. It's actually a pretty good movie. You got to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was comical.
I was watching one of Joe Rogan's shorts today, and it had come up, and he said, supposedly, because he still doesn't believe we landed on the moon.
Yeah, he goes back and forth with it now.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane that you can't keep that secret from the 500,000 people. Well, they say 500,000 people worked on the Apollo project, but realistically, how many people were in the know on everything? It's you had some engineers designing parts, but they weren't in the know. But see, you probably still had a couple hundred people that were like in the know. So
yeah, Fly Me to the Moon was the name of the movie. It was a good movie.
Okay,
it's interesting. Yeah, that is a tough one. I guess the part that always gets me is the surviving going through all the radiation.
Yeah, the Van Allen belt. Yeah, they still say we still can't go through that. And it's like, well, obviously we can, we did. But
that one always kind of that's the part that always makes me scratch my head about it, but still it's I'm glad you had a great time. I think that'd be so cool. I've gone to some of the Smithsonian aeronautic museums up in Washington that were pretty cool, but I can't imagine going down there and seeing all the whole history of space flight.
Oh, it's just from the very beginning, and then they have the Atlantis, the space shuttle Atlantis, because they sent all of them out to various museums across the country. NASA kept Atlantis, so that was hanging from the ceiling. So you get to go on the little catwalk and walk around it, and
that was the last one remaining, wasn't it? There was only 3 of them. Columbia was destroyed, and so was Discovery. I think Atlantis was the last one.
No, so Challenger and Discovery.
Challenger, that's it. Challenger.
So you had Atlantis, Columbia, and I thought there were 3 because that
is 4. You're right. It was Challenger, Columbia, Discovery, and Atlantis.
Because and then they had the first one that was only the prototype that never went into space. So Discovery is in Virginia, Atlantis is in NASA here in Florida, Endeavor is in California.
Endeavor.
Yeah, Endeavor is in California, and let's see, where is Enterprise, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavor.
Enterprise, that's right. There was
Enterprise was the very first one that was, and it didn't quite look like the finished ones. It had the same general shape.
Yeah,
and that's the one that never went into space. That's the one they test to make sure it could glide and everything else.
Columbia and the Challenger are the 2 that right? Those are the 2.
Yeah.
Because the first one was the Challenger.
That's the first one that broke up. Yeah,
that's the first one that was in space. So that was the OG.
Yeah. So
that was after watching Moonraker.
Yeah. So but yeah, it was it was cool to see them, and we got a patch that we were there that day, because every time they go on a launch for the a manned launch, NASA creates a special patch that you can buy in the gift center, and it has all the astronauts' name from that launch. And I think they said that this will be the last time that they'll actually put the names of the astronauts on the patch. They'll just put the mission number, because the patch that we got had four astronauts' names on it, but only 2 went up because they had to leave the empty seats for the two
Oh,
that were stranded because of the Boeing. So we have like a collector's patch from two that didn't go up.
nice. Super
So
ultra rare.
yeah. So those two will have to come back in February. You know, that'll be a long haul for them. They definitely weren't expecting to stay that long.
No, God, no, not at all. That's amazing. It's amazing that they go up there, just get him and rescue him.
Oh yeah, you know, and Boeing hates it, and then NASA doesn't. You'll see where they never say it's a rescue mission because they don't want to. They've already angered Boeing enough. You know, like Boeing is pissed off that NASA is you know, they sent their capsule back empty. You know, but NASA said, you know, we're not going to chance our most precious cargo.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
On a what if. So I
landed safely, but what if it wouldn't? You know, you deal with that nightmare.
Yeah, especially with everything else Boeing's got going on. They're already killing people left and right, you know, because their planes can't stay in the air, you know. So, but yeah, so I watch interviews with the Boeing employees, and they all say we fucking hate SpaceX. You know, it was like F them, F that, and it's just like, it's great, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing to see all the new buildings going up. Blue Origin has a huge complex there. When I was at Shirtless Mike's Lounge Friday night, smoking cigars, a bunch of Blue Origin guys were there playing pool, smoking cigars, and you know, having a good time. But yeah, Boeing's got a huge complex there.
Nice.
You know, all of the ULA, United Launch Alliance, SpaceX, and it's super cool to see these giant buildings. Then we saw, which was cool, we had a good bus driver, and we were driving out to the Saturn V Center after the launch. We saw the vehicle assembly building where they they're building the new SLS, and they built the space shuttles there. And in the building, we were probably still maybe a half a mile from the building, and it looked big. And he was telling us about how big the building really was. Like, he's like, you can't comprehend until you stand in front of the building. So on the side of the building, it's the single largest one-story building on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge, and it's like 5 stories tall or whatnot. And then on the side of it, they have a huge American flag painted on the side of it. And he's like, each star is such and such, you know, however big each star was. He goes, each stripe on the flag is wide enough for this bus to drive down, you know, if it was on the ground.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. And
yeah, when we were watching the Fly Me to the Moon, they said that was first when they pulled up. They're like, this is the largest single story building in the world. Yeah. And then at NASA's other center in I forget where it's at. I don't know. Like I said, Kentucky, Tennessee, where, you know, wherever it is there in the Midwest South. But its vehicle assembly building has the largest, flattest, smoothest concrete slab ever poured on the planet. It's like however many, a dozen football fields wide and long, whatever it is. But from corner to corner, like, it only varies in height and like by like half a millimeter. It's something dumb like that. And I'm like, that's where I want to stand. I'm like, that's the nerd in me. I just want to stand on the flattest concrete surface in the world. You know? Yeah. That's my bucket list item. Are you gonna pull something out to make sure it is the flattest surface?
Yeah. Pull out my $8 Home Depot bubble. You know, I'm like, well, let me check this out here. You know, and
the bubble that's on your the bubble that's on top of the tape measure that clips to the belt.
yeah, or on my phone. Just set my phone sideways.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like it might be a 16th of a bubble off. You know,
It's a little bit. I always trust my Android.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it was just cool. Like I said, just to see, you know, history, you know, where we came from, and then just, you know, thinking about it. It's only been, you know, like whatever it is, 100 years or so since the Wright brothers, you know, took off. to
Yeah.
where we've got a reusable rocket that comes back down after it's
I
done.
know. You wonder why
It's
people
just
think
like
we got alien technology. When I was like,
that's it. We
how
can
long
get
ago
douche.
they were freaking, you saw what should really give you an idea of how far we come is not the video and watching the Wright brothers fly their planes. It's all the other people who tried and failed, all those stupid machines. You're just like, wow, that's horrible.
Yeah. And then and it was, they took off in a plane across, Kitty Hawk. And then next thing you know, we got factories, the Industrial Revolution. We're producing all of this stuff. And it's just one thing after another. And it was just from, one moment in time to now. And we've gone 1,000 years and 100 years. So tell me them aliens didn't intervene.
100%, man. It's funny is I thought of you today. Actually, before I say anything else, Dikembe Mutombo died.
No, get out of here.
Basketball player died at 58 of a brain cancer. He
really?
died. And Pete Rose died today.
Pete Rose? Fuck MLB. Fuck MLB.
I know. They let that man die without. I know, terrible.
Without letting him, and then just to stick it to him, just because that's what Bud Selig will do. Stick it right in his ass. He'll be inducted next year.
I know. It'll be and I hope when they go to do it, his family says no. That's a shame, but I thought of you. I was watching something, and because all I have is my phone. And there's so many cars. There's so many electric cars in California right now that the taxes on gas of people using gas has freaking gone down.
Yeah, so
much that they're doing a pilot where they're gonna start taxing electric car drivers.
Yeah, you're gonna essentially a mileage tax for them being on the road.
So there you go. You talk about clean energy, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, and it just shows you how much money these states piss away and how much they charge on gas. And when you actually start doing the right thing and you want to start getting some electric vehicles on the road and you want to reduce the carbon emitting, horrible, freaking stinky cars, well, they made a lot of money on that gas, so now they got to make it somewhere else. Yeah,
same thing with tobacco tax. Nobody wants to get rid of that in the government level. Nobody wants to get rid of tobacco. When it comes to the tax, like you said, you get rid of tobacco and you get rid of cars. Yeah, we got to make that money up somewhere.
Exactly.
That it's just
have to. I mean, look at all the money that the CHIP uses for the healthcare for children on tobacco taxes.
Yeah, the S-chip. Yeah.
Where do you think it's going to go to? You know, I mean, it's a lot of. We actually, I remember in Pennsylvania years ago, it was always the Pennsylvania lottery. They did we have the big lottery, the Pennsylvania lottery, and it would always say Pennsylvania lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians, and they actually had a few things that it provided. It provided a secondary insurance, like a formulary for medication. So if you had Medicare, or Medicaid, whatever, if you qualified in your age, you actually were able to kind of fall back on this secondary and tertiary insurance for your drugs. So if it wasn't covered under one, it may be covered on that. The other thing it provided was transportation to and from your doctor's appointments. So it provided a lot of great money, a lot of great benefits. Well, Ed Rendell wanted to build casinos and bring casinos into the state, and how that's going to help lower property tax, which never did. While they brought in casinos, guess what took a hit? The Pennsylvania lottery. So guess what was the first thing to get cut? Are all those wonderful programs that the elderly were enjoying. And guess where all those elderly people are right now? They're pissing their money away at the casinos that were built.
Yeah, we had that when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was, but I remember when the Florida lottery started, and it was an X amount of percentage of money from the lottery was going to go to schools to make schools better. And it did for a couple of years. They got an influx of let's say $1 billion a year for the whole state. Well, then after several years, it was, they still gave them that billion extra, but then they cut 200 million from the general fund, and then 300 million. And then it got to be, it evened out. Hey, you got this $1 billion from the lottery. Yeah, but you cut $1 billion. So now we have the same budget we did 20 years ago. Yeah,
it's a shame when you see those things. Oh, I tell you, I saw a UFO when we were in Myrtle, when we were in St. Augustine.
Did you? I was looking for them down here, but yeah,
I found one. I saw one.
Did you?
Yeah. I was looking up in the sky, and there was a definite cluster which looked like stars, but it was definitely in a shape of like a cross with some extra lights. And I took some pictures. It was kind of flashing a little bit. I kept my eye on it a long time. It just looked out of place, Kev. It looked out of place. And then I couldn't do a video recording of it, so I had Jennifer record me taking a picture of it. And I was doing all the filters and everything, removing all the filters. And after you removed all the filters, it looked a little suspect. And then I have a UFO app where people, like, you can see where all the UFO sightings are, and people will share their sightings. I did not share mine. And down in that area, someone saw the exact same thing in 2022, and they posted pictures of it. It was the exact same thing.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I'll send you some pictures.
Oh, I can't wait. I was looking around because we watch the Skinwalker Ranch every time they light up rockets and stuff. That always brings them out. And you bet, unfortunately, it was really cloudy. We got to see a good part of the launch, but it was about half of it was behind the clouds. But I was looking.
I'm telling you, man, I was pretty convinced. I mean, I'm sending you a couple of them now. You're gonna laugh when you see them. And then at that point, I was so excited, like everything I saw, I thought was a UFO. It's like, that looks like one too.
That was pretty good,
But like the one picture I just sent you, the bright one, if you like zoom in, that one's, I think, a little bit blurry. But it's like it's a crazy cluster, man. It's not anything that looks normal, but
yeah, what I can do for people here, I can actually share. Probably shouldn't share all my screen, but we can share the pictures here that Kerr took. These are definitely aliens, Kerr. I'm not gonna. That's aliens.
I think I see a pilot in there hidden somewhere, right?
But yeah.
It was weird is that, like, when you looked up you didn't see it, but if you looked down you could see it out of your periphery, just like a glob. And then when you zoomed in on it, you really you could see it. So, and like I said, the odd thing is that when I start looking up all those who witnessed this, if they witnessed anything else in that area, it was in 2022, and boom, right there it was, the exact same thing. I was like, you got
to reach out to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. So, and then give them your pictures. You fill out your report. They'll send someone to your house, to take your statement. Tell you where you are.
And then the Men in Black will show up at my house.
Hopefully, but no, you didn't. You didn't have a close encounter of the third kind or anything. So they're not, Men in Black aren't showing up. But that's what happens. Yet. It's always people that are out in like out in the middle of nowhere, not like me, people that want to see, God, let me get abducted. People say it's always freaky. No way. Like, show me around this bitch, so, but,
I know. I was looking, I always hear about the alien abductions. I'm like, man, I could use some time off.
I know, like, you want to anal probe me, show me your ship, I'll make you a deal. Tit for tat, so
they just use some of that alien lube. Will be good. I mean, I'll be missing for a bit. It'd be a tough one to fire someone who was abducted by an alien.
That's it. And then I only have one rule: is don't drop me back off of my house. Drop me off on the other side of the earth, just so they know it's legit. They drop me back off. People already know that I want to be abducted. So they're like, yeah, we're not listening to Kevin. That's all he talks about, is wanting to be abducted. But I go missing on a Friday and I show up in Russia on a Saturday. Something might be up, So
I definitely want to, it's like they said, it's, the way that they likened it is, I'm sending you something else too. Is like, imagine that you walk down into a pond and you pull out a frog and you walk around, you play with the frog, and then you're like, I think I just want to release this frog, and you release him somewhere on the other side of the pond or on another pond. Like that's what it's like for the aliens. If they just like picked you up in your home, just be like, just listen, anywhere on Earth except for the Florida, anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So it reminds me of that the man that went missing in Saugatuck, Michigan. I don't know when it was, maybe in the 90s, but they tracked his footprints out in the middle of this snow-covered lake. Not a single footprint, nothing. They tracked only his footprints go out in the dead center of the lake, and all they found was his backpack and his belongings, and that was it. He woke up a year later in like Maine and wandered into town, didn't know where he was at, so
that's gonna be you.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me.
Good.
Not a year, man. Don't drop me off a year later, bro. A couple days, a week, I got shit to do. Yeah.
Make it a week, make it far from my house, but make it close to a cigar shop.
Yeah, exactly. Let me give me my clothes. Don't drop me off in the middle of nowhere naked or anything, So, but yeah, I don't know. One day. Well, we only have a year, not even a year to wait. 2025.
I remember you saying that. Yep.
Yeah, according to Lou Elizondo, that was on the ATIP task force, and says 2025 they're going to make their presence known. They better tell us now. So,
well, I mean, when they made the announcement and all these different UFOs or UAPs, it was all during COVID. It was like no one even batted an eyelash.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, they just said that.
Because we had so much shit going on. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Aliens. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like if how much of a BS are they selling us if the government's admitting that there's aliens? Something's not right with what's going on right now. If they're trying to distract us with that, usually it's a celebrity or something stupid. But no, they're like, hey, yeah, those these ships, these aliens, yeah, we don't know what they are, and we've been watching them for a real long time.
Oh yeah, now Kerr, I know you know about you follow the Y-Files. So he did a whole video on Range 4 Harry. So that was a great. That was
the horse
idiot,
right?
Yeah, the horse.
Yep.
Yeah, Range 4 Harry. So, but yeah, it's I figured I knew something was going on years and years ago when the Pope came out and said just because if aliens landed or we found proof does not negate that there is a God. And I'm like, why is he saying that? Why is the Pope saying that? Why does the Catholics, they have like one of the biggest observatories, looking out. What are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
they got a lot of shit in Vatican City. They got a lot. They got a lot there. They got a lot of history. They got a lot of stuff in that basement, bro.
That's it. The secret archives. So, but yeah, hopefully, 2025 going to be an exciting year. Gonna finally see the aliens, so,
we'll see the aliens.
We got an asteroid moving through, I think this week that we'll be able to see.
It'll be a second moon. It'll be a second moon
there. Yeah. So we'll have that for a few days.
We'll have aliens in 2025. We got, we're going to be going to, you and I are going to be going down to Louisiana, going down to New Orleans.
The PCA.
I hope they show that. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be nice.
Not have them wreck our trip, down there or something. Because if they show up, the whole world is gonna come to a grinding halt.
Yeah, we can't have that. That's not good for viewers.
Yeah, no. Unless I can get one of them to do an interview, they're not. Yeah,
you never know.
You never know. So it'll be exciting. So
I got one more thing I got to tell you. Yeah. I got so many comments and questions on my Matt Booth t-shirt over the weekend.
Oh, did you?
I had so many people go, I thought that was you in the hot dog. I'm like, what kind of narcissistic prick would I have to be to have a picture of myself in a hot dog with a bite taken out of it?
This guy, you know.
Yeah, I know. And the lady's like, and there's mold on the bun too. What does all that mean? I go, I don't know. It's Matt Booth.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I know Shirtless Mike and I we did a photo together, you know, and I'm like, hey, because we were both smoking room 101. I'm like, let's touch our tips, you know, just for Matt, and he appreciated it. He sent me a text, so he appreciated that. But Shirtless Mike has a beautiful lounge, Smoke Ring 72 in Merritt Island, right there. You know, probably only 15-20 minutes from the Space Center.
Oh yeah,
it is so beautiful, Kerr. Huge lounge. You and Jen would dig it. I know Jessica liked it. In one little nook, he had a huge coffee bar set up, like anything you could want. I mean, beautiful machines, gorgeous bar, pool table, like comfy chairs. They had one chair. One chair was like this leather chair with all like the rivets and everything in it, you know, like the old fashioned chairs. It was like 4 feet wide and like 9 feet long, you know, like this chair lounge, and just beautiful couches. And it was an amazing lounge.
Oh, nice.
So anybody anywhere near the Merritt Island area, definitely stop in there. Definitely do not stop into the Irish pub for a hamburger. If you want to stop in there for some dinner. My dinner was enjoyable. Jessica left hungry. So, yeah, it was, I don't know how you screw up a burger, man. Order it medium well, comes out rare. And orders it again, sends it back. She was so apologetic. She goes, oh my gosh. She goes, I know I wrote on there medium well. It comes out medium rare the second time. Blood covering the plate. And Jessica actually asked for a to-go box. And we were just going to take it to go and throw it away outside. We didn't want to say anything. And Jessica was hangry. She's like, we get a to-go box, we're done. And then the waitress was like, is everything okay? And Jessica's like, no. You know, it was like, we were going to let it go. And
you had to poke the bear at that point.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, and then, but she was she's looked at it. She goes, I don't know what happened. So she took it.
But you're the server. If you're serving a burger that's supposed to be medium well and it's freaking got blood on the plate, you should make a call.
I know. And it's not like it was a super thick burger, like you couldn't tell.
But still, though, man, it's like if you think of it this way, right? If you order a salad and they go up to pick up a salad and there's a pizza, are they just going to give you the pizza? No. They're going to be like, hey, listen, order a salad. This guy ordered a salad. Why are you throwing a pizza on here? I'm not going to take a pizza guy who ordered a salad. So if you order, especially a burger that's medium well, that thing, that shouldn't have any blood anywhere near it.
Yeah. I agree. And especially like a medium well burger, you just cut the center, to make sure there's no pink. Nobody's going to notice. You're going to put cheese on it. You just take your spatula. I mean, I cooked for years. You just cut the center, make sure there's no pink in it. Because anybody wants medium well, any other, you can use your finger to test it. But yeah.
Cut the center, push down on it. Blood comes out. Nothing. Juice comes out. Hallelujah.
Yeah. You're good to go. But yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was definitely nuts. Yeah.
I'm sure after the second time it was sent back, it came back with some saliva on it.
Yeah. So it's probably why we didn't want a third one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My food was good though. I had a good dinner. But and then after that, she just went back she was like, just take me back to the hotel. She was done for the night. So yeah, she went to bed. I went and hung out at the lounge.
And then we got up at like 7:00 breakfast.
Yeah. Go like 7:00. Went downstairs and had a garbage breakfast at the hotel. Just one of those, hotel breakfasts.
We didn't eat any good meal.
We didn't have, whenever the last few times we've gone away for a weekend, I never drink. like I never find any place that has like booze, like no cigar lounges. So I didn't drink for like 2 days, and then no good food. So yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was trying all sorts of mixtures. They had harp in a can, but he's like, hey, why don't we try this and do a black and tan? I was trying everything, mixing it with Guinness.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see what it was like. See if I can come up with something better. I could not.
Yeah. You could not.
I could not, but I tried.
You think by now that they've tried all the variations. So
I was like, let's do Heineken and Guinness. They're like, really? I'm like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. I'm sure you found out.
At that time, I should have not had anything with Guinness. But yeah, it was good. I saw that Will was down there for Drew Estate the day after we left, or the day of.
Oh, was he down in St. Augustine?
Yeah, he had a picture with Jim.
Oh, he was at the Leaf and Bean. Oh,
yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. We still gotta get you guys to that location. Such a great place, man. So much fun.
Yeah, we definitely got to get up there. So,
oh, Kev, looks like another Puff and Ponder under the belt.
Yeah, Puff and Ponder podcast where conversations ignite like the rockets.
Yeah.
So we'll be until early next year. Like I said, these will be sporadic here and there whenever we find time to do them. So next week we come back live with the I Tap That Cigar Show. We got Chantal from Bella Dama Cigars that's going to be on. The cigars should be here today or tomorrow, Kerr. So I'll get those out in the mail to you as soon as they show up. So then we rescheduled Ken Dorbecker of Chief Cigars. We got him coming on at the end of October. So
I'm looking forward to chatting with Ken. I was messaging him back and forth when I got the cigars, so I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, I don't know any. I know you know him. I don't know anything about him other than like just retired firefighter and
good dude, good guy.
Yeah, that's all I know about it. That's what everybody says. Everybody says he's a good dude.
He is. He definitely is. But it was. I wish the whole show was more happiness to talk about, but it's the reality of things. And like I said, if you get an opportunity to donate or do anything you can to help anybody out in that North Carolina area, please do, because they are hurting.
They are, and ice and water. That's what people need. You don't understand how much of a commodity ice is, because you can only keep ice so long in a cooler, and you gotta, we went through that, of just our daily hunting for ice. So if you're in the area and you can pack up a car and you got some coolers that you can drop off ice to someone, or someone random, even if you don't have friends in that area, and you can bring, if you bring a cooler full of ice bags, somebody will take it. Somebody will be appreciative of it.
We were lucky we found ice when we did, but like I told Jennifer, I'm like, we're in the hotel, load up of that, we did. So, well, hopefully we'll get our electricity back on, but I'll probably end up doing what I did last night. I cut the generator off around 10 o'clock, and the refrigerator kept between 10 and I woke back up at around 6-7 o'clock and fired it back up again.
As long as you're not opening it during the night, so it's gonna keep its keep its temperature.
And we learned, like, the refrigerator got a little bit warmer than we like, so what we got to do is setting up colder now, and then we have that middle area and the freezer, so we can keep some stuff down there. It'll be just fine, through the night. But we always message our neighbors and say, hey, we're cutting it, so whatever you need in your refrigerator, get it now.
Yeah. Don't open that up.
Don't open that up. So but hopefully they'll be able to get that restored, the electricity restored to this area sooner than later.
Yeah, hopefully, man. So
all
right, everybody. We'll see everybody back here next Monday night.
All right, see everybody.